Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. All right, since my videos on Saturday are going to be for Sunday for Patreon, my videos after that are going to be really long because there's so much information that I miss and I need to cover. So, let's just get in there because there's a lot. Let's go. We're going to start off with a comment left by my subscriber, Natalie Radford, who said, when you look at the photo of Virginia Giuffre with Andrew, when you compare them side by side, where does the frame on the wall behind Andrew go? And my subscriber Allison even said, personally, if you look at the picture closely, there's something not right. Someone said it before, where is the original? So I pulled this picture off of Twitter. I'd love to tell you where I got it. I don't remember, but look on the left. It's circled already, the picture frame, okay? Now look on the right and look at Miss Maxwell's hands. You see that they're together? Do you see that? Her hands are together in front of her. Now look at this picture. Her hands are not together and the picture frame is gone. I mean, you guys, it's obviously photoshopped. I mean, I would not have allowed that case to go anywhere without the original photo. I'm sorry. To say, yeah, I lost it, it's just not acceptable, especially when you're talking about this kind of case. All right, let's get into the stuff for today. Talking about Andrew, he was spotted again riding around Windsor in a blue jacket, and they're saying now that he's become a virtual recluse who only ventures out a few times a week to either ride his horse or swim. Kind of sad, actually. He's still living at the Great Lodge with his ex-wife Fergie, the kids, whatever. But he's apparently really turned into a different person. Kind of sad. All right, moving on. The president of the Tongolese Republic visited King Charles at Buckingham Palace. Remember, the Tonga recently became the 56th member of the Commonwealth. Good for them. All right, Prince William will be attending the 10th annual Tusk Awards. He has been their patron since, I believe, 2005. It's a fabulous organization. I'm looking forward to seeing that. All right, I'm just throwing this story in there because it came out that Catherine and William, the Prince and Princess of Wales, will be moving to Windsor Castle. They're saying that that's a final blow to Harry and Meghan. And the reason they're saying that is because Harry and Meghan requested to move in to Windsor Castle. And they were told no. And instead they were given Frogmore Cottage. Not even Frogmore House, but the cottage. Now keep in mind the cottage had been renovated top to bottom. It was over 5,000 square feet in size. It was beautifully put out. Harry and Meghan got to pick the finishes. And yet Meghan was screaming about it because it was too small. And she kept telling Harry, get me out of here, get me out of here. Yeah. So anyway, yes, I'm sure that Harry and Meghan are going to be very upset when Catherine and William actually move into the castle because, let's face it, that's where Meghan wanted to be. All right, moving on. Next up, the Duchess of Gloucester, hope I'm saying that right, attended a reception where they were celebrating the achievements of colleagues and people sharing a new strategy to build an inclusive, welcoming world for everyone. Looks from the photos like everybody had an absolutely fabulous time. I love this woman. She's, again, I said it before, the older generation, they're out and about, they're doing, they're working. I love it. All right, now this took place several days ago, but I still think as a retired ER nurse that it is important to point it out. It was Emergency Services Day, and Charles and Camilla went to thank everybody across the NHS and the emergency and security services that do all the fabulous work that they do, and I love that they got recognition. They should. All right, next up, Princess Anne launched the National Center for Coastal Autonomy at the Marine Biology Association. She gets all the really cool stuff. You know what I mean? She gets to see all this really cool stuff. She got to talk to some of the next generation of marine scientists and technology. This is the UK's first fully integrated net zero autonomous observing and monitoring network. How freaking cool is that? I'm telling you, she gets to do all the cool stuff. Now, Anne also this past Wednesday visited Sense Scotland's Touchbase Dunbartonshire service. That was Wednesday because she's the patron. So she met staff, families, and people that charity supports. And she was presented with a framed copy of Sense Scotland's 2022 Christmas card, which was designed by Mark Niven. Way to go, Anne. All right, next up, Princess Beatrice went to a West End premiere. Apparently, the movie was about somebody who had dyslexia, and apparently Beatrice was diagnosed with dyslexia at age 7, but she said she chose to see it as a blessing rather than a curse, and now she supports charities that help dyslexic people, and she's aimed at changing the narrative surrounding it. So the film is now ready to hit the U.S., well, it's already been released in the U.S., now it's ready to hit the U.K. cinemas. I think she looked lovely. She has been the patron of the Helen Arkell Dyslexia Charity since 2013, and she wrote the foreword for the charity's book, in which she said her life could have been very different without it, and that she has developed a toolkit of skills to help her learn better, and it's a toolkit that she continues to use throughout the years, which I love it. Now, talking about her and her sister, a royal author, Andrew Lowney, predicted that King Charles could in the future distance individuals who are today very close to the monarchy. We know that, again, he wanted a slimmed down monarchy. Now, they're saying that so far Charles has been very clear that it's only really going to be the direct line of succession that's going to be super important, and that could have an impact on Lady Louise, her brother James, who, are the children of Sophie and Edward, who also have been playing big roles in the firm, and they think that they might see their roles watered down, as well as Beatrice and Eugenie. At the same time, though, that these articles are coming out, these are coming out. These articles don't come from an author. These are from sources close to Charles. And they said that Charles has no plans to cut the number of working royals from the current 11. Now, that is more than any of the other European monarchy, but it shows a desire to be more conservative than they thought. And what's being said is that now that Harry and Meghan are gone, and with Andrew stepped back, Charles seems grateful to have the support of Anne and Sophie and Edward, as long as the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester and, the Duke and Duchess of Kent. And so therefore, they're just going to carry on as they are. I think that's the correct thing to do. All right, moving on. All right, headlines like this are coming out saying that William has no interest in the manufactured turf war with Harry and Meghan, which I completely agree. He's going to the United States for the Earthshot Prize. He's going to be in Boston. The whole thing was inspired by President JFK and his moonshot challenge. And so, of course, we all know what happened next. Harry and Meghan bought an award with the other brother, Robert Kennedy, and now they're going to be there a few days after. They're going to try very hard to steal the thunder. It's not going to happen. But yeah, he's got no interest in seeing them because we already know that they can't be trusted. Like everybody knows that. Moving on. All right. Now, the stories are starting to come out that Meghan is trying to airbrush her past. At what point when she took this job on Deal or No Deal did she not understand what the job was about? Of course she understood what the job was about. But that's part of the problem that they are having is that their consistency is questioned because they can't tell the truth. They say one thing, then they turn around and say another. I feel so sorry for the archetypes fact checker because she missed something else, right? Meghan claims that she quit the Deal or No Deal for feeling like a bimbo, but yet we know that she took a raunchy part 2 years later. Watch this. I mean, in every part of her life, in every part of her work, she's done this. And then she complains about it. The only thing she hasn't complained about yet is Suits, but I'm pretty sure that's coming. Like, that's coming. Then people went back to the TIG and found something that she wrote. How many times have I told you guys that the internet is forever and you need to be super careful? How many times? Look here at what she wrote. This was written 2 years after the Deal or No Deal to prospective advertisers in New York. She wrote, quote, "They'll roll out the red carpet in a major way because they want me on the show. The talent, they call us." Right? This is part of the job, and it's effing awesome. If you're pursuing television, then realize you've already sold out and you can take your big fancy paycheck because you can now. Flashing those pearly whites, ahem, veneers, and working the red carpet with your sexy little body, ahem, Spanx, is part of the job description you jumped on board for when you signed on the dotted line. Bam! Now, I've already shown you multiple people that have stepped forward that were on that show with her. Here's another one. I worked on the pilot series, the first 5 episodes, as a low-level producer. It was my second ever job in the entertainment industry. At the workplace, nobody was treated like a bimbo. I can't speak to what might have happened outside the stage, but they were treated like queens. And part of my responsibilities were to take care of the models and anything they needed. And don't forget, she said there was a tanning station and an eyelash station. Well, another Deal or No Deal person stepped up and said there was no bra station. That's another lie. Again, the fact checker missed it. Now, beyond the fact that people are pointing out if it wasn't for the bimbo role, she wouldn't have met Prince Harry, which is absolutely true. A Hollywood stylist, another person who worked on Deal or No Deal, has now spoken out. And what this young lady said is, "It's been a rough week watching a show that I love so much be criticized." She said she designed the look for Deal or No Deal for all the women and Howie Mandel, and that it was one of her most wonderful, challenging, high-profile gigs of her career, and she loved every minute of it. She said that everybody on the show, from the wardrobe team to the producers, the crew, hair and makeup, Howie, and especially the models, worked very hard to make the show the best they could for the contestants and the fans who adored it. And she had thought a lot about it, and she wouldn't change a thing. She said the woman got such amazing opportunities, not only to change the lives of the contestants who came on the show, but also the opportunities they gained from being seen in millions of people's homes each week. From hosting and being on other television shows, being on Oprah, starting businesses. It was a launch pad for so many, much of who she said she's still in touch with today. And let's not overlook, this was all pre-social media and cameras on cell phones. She said, "I can't imagine what they could have accomplished if they'd had those tools at their fingertips." And she's proud to have been part of the show and the Deal or No Deal family, and always will be. The end. Boom. Now, Eureka Johnson says that Meghan Markle ditched her feminist principles whenever she needed to further her career. I happen to agree with that. I mean, she pointed out that Meghan didn't object. She had a burning hole in her principles, and she was willing to use that as a stepping stone to bigger and better things. And there's nothing wrong with that. And she was willing to walk away from her strongly held fundamentals she had at the time for the sake of furthering her career. She pointed out that her first job was a weather girl, and people thought of her as a blonde bimbo. But roles are created for women who want to grab the opportunity, and she wished Meghan would stop talking about it like it's a feminist issue. You know, starting out in a role isn't testing your IQ, doesn't mean that you're selling yourself short. Now, going back to that Variety interview that she gave, it wasn't unnoticed that Meghan refuses to use Harry's name. She said husband 8 times, but she won't say Harry. In less than 2 months, we've had 2 interviews with Meghan. Both times she had glam photo shots. Both times she's twirling around in designer gardens. And both times she won't mention her husband. She won't say Harry. And it's being said now that Meghan is coming into her own and she does better without Harry. And she appears giddy at times, and she's enjoying the opportunity to show who she is without Harry. And there's a sudden shift in emotion, they noted, when she's asked about Harry. She looks left, she looks right, she stares up, she blinks a lot, very odd behavior. But then something else was noticed. And a big thank you to Duchess Marmalade for pointing this out. Now, we know she doesn't talk about Harry anymore in any of her, interviews. We know that she's the one on the magazine covers now. We know that Harry is slowly disappearing from the scene because she doesn't really need him anymore. But here's some pictures just to show it, right? In October of 2020, they were side by side in these photos. Then you get to September of 2021. Now Harry's behind Meghan and she's in the forefront. And now Harry is nowhere to be seen at all. He's vanished. He's like completely gone. It's incredible. And as for that photo shoot, somebody took pictures behind the scenes of the staff taking the photos. I'm sorry. None of these people, first of all, I don't even know what's going on in this photo. They're all away from her, but none of these people is smiling or looks the least bit happy. Now, a few more little problems with the Variety. Obviously, they didn't have the Spotify fact checker checking everything because once again, she told a big lie. Here's what she said on one of those obligatory interviews that she had to do when she was on Suits. Listen to this.
Different languages or just that?
I studied French for 8 years and now it's deplorable. I can't remember anything, which is just...
I think the word you're looking for is...
Here's what she said during the Variety interview.
I really wanted to relearn French. I had studied it for the 4 years in high school, and then it just went away. So after...
Now, I have to agree with the body language guy on this one. Some of the things that Meghan said during the interview are literally single white female creepy. In 2020, Prince William admitted that he made a killer bolognese sauce and that he used the recipe to impress Catherine when they were at university together. Also, remember, Meghan said that she loves Scrabble, especially New York Scrabble. Interesting, because that's what William and Catherine said as well years ago. Now, we saw where Meghan is going to try to blame their docuseries from Netflix on the director, and I'm sure that Harry is going to blame his book on the ghostwriter. But this young lady, Brooke, pointed out what happened after the Cut interview, where she said she's defended Meghan, but it's hard to do when she gives an interview to Variety saying she was too open and trusting with Allison Davis and the Cut. That's the young lady who wrote the article. Well, we know what Meghan did with Piers Morgan. She picked up the phone and made a phone call, and now people are wondering if she did the same thing with the reporter. Because not long after the Cut came out, this tweet came up from that reporter. And she said, "For the first time, I'm going on an extended vacation, out of pocket, living in the moment, pray for my inbox." Basically, she needed work. Yeah, was she silenced or is she silent? I think we all know what really happened here. So there you go. People are upset that this woman of color, who is an accomplished, highly respected writer, was thrown under the bus. And they're saying the rumors are that Meghan made enraged phone calls that resulted in her termination. If it's true, if those rumors are true, they're saying that this woman, unlike Meghan, got where she is in life by hard work, not because she slept with a series of wealthy, white, privileged dudes. And pointed out that it's not the job of the journalist to pacify egomaniacs with puff pieces. I agree 100%. And I completely agree with Meghan's mole on this. To throw somebody under the bus for backlash for her own words, Meghan never takes accountability. Now, we've seen that. Again, we're seeing it because she's already trying to distance herself from this interview. She's distancing herself from the Netflix documentary. Harry is distancing himself from the book. Nobody takes accountability for their behavior. It's crazy. All right, another little bit of information that recently came out. Come to find out that when Valentine Lowe was going to put out his story about the bullying, Schillings, which is the law firm that Harry and Meghan use in the UK, sent him all kinds of threatening letters and notices. You better not put it out. You better not put it out. Since he published his book, nothing. Not a peep. Very interesting. All right, let's move on. All right, moving on now to The Crown and Netflix. Apparently, Netflix has been getting a ridiculous amount of backlash over the fact that they refuse to put a disclaimer. They have now put a disclaimer. Because so many people believe that this is a true story and they don't understand that this is for clicks. It's for show. It's not real. They took, for instance, this interview, the Martin Bashir interview, but they changed it. They had a scene at one point of the Queen hugging Prince Philip after the fire, at Windsor Castle, but it never happened. Guys, I mean, even Judi Dench spoke up and said it was unjustly cruel what you were doing. And I'm good for her standing up, because let me tell you something. They've started filming the part about the death of Princess Diana where the kids went behind the carriage. You know what? I hope people continue to drop their subscriptions. I hope nobody watches this drivel. I hope Netflix realizes what a mistake they made. And every time I see this, I think about how Harry sat on the Me You Can't See across from Oprah, saying that he was mad at the public for mourning his mother because they had never met her, but yet he has no trouble taking money from Netflix, who's milking her death for entertainment value. All right, moving on, we had another set up pap walk. The pictures were taken by Backgrid, which we know is the paparazzi for hire. And they clearly show Meghan walking with her friend. She's animatedly talking to this woman. I don't think that's a friend of hers. I don't know if she's a hired assistant or what, and I'll tell you why that in a minute. Anyway, when she gets the bag of goodies, she comes out and she's holding the bag at every single angle so you can read the name on the bag. It's a merching opportunity. But then her friend is carrying her bag. Why would her friend be carrying her bag? Because she's not her friend. Oh, let's go over here. Let's act like we don't see them. It's a complete setup thing. I mean, it's almost a joke. Okay, so then they get in the car, and then I have to tell you her feet. There are the bunions. They have not been photoshopped out like they were in her 2 Vanity Fair and cut interviews. Yeah, she could have that surgically fixed. I wonder if she knows that. Anyway, this outfit, first of all, her sticking her tongue out again, really. But this outfit was horrible. It looked on her like she was wearing a diaper. I don't get it. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. She was braless. And then I guess she figured the pictures weren't being taken anymore, so she took off the artfully draped sweater and the sunglasses. She tried to get in the car by herself. It's like, people, please. Fake, fake, fake. Now, finally, I'm going to end with this. It was on Twitter. I wish I could remember who put it up. I don't. But it's a perfect description of the Sussex Squad. Flying monkeys are people who protect narcissists' falsified identities. They manipulate the victims into reconciling with the narcissist, apologize for the narcissist, participate in the smear campaign of the victims, and help dismantle the no-contact method. They tend to be people who you once felt comfortable confiding in. If that ain't the Sussex Squad to a T. Boom. All right, you guys, a super long video, lots of information, and I want your comments. So make sure to make them good and leave them below, okay? Really important for me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. People are still telling me that they're checking and they're finding themselves unsubscribed. I don't know what that is. That's a YouTube thing. So you just have to keep checking to make sure you're still subscribed. That's all I can tell you. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Getter, Rumble. You can email me. All of the links to all of that, including my Patreon, are in the description box. For those who have donated to my coffee fund through the thanks button and through the coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.